Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Minicast from the Life Administration Podcast. Today, we are talking about making a menu. Now, you might wonder why we bother with making a menu, because a 10-second search on Pinterest will lead you to at least 15 links about how to make a menu. And honestly, how complicated is it? On Monday, you're going to have this thing. On Tuesday, you plan to have this thing. On Wednesday, you plan to have this thing. Then you go through and you make a grocery list of all the ingredients that you need to make those things. You go get the grocery menu planning. Okay. Menu planning isn't that complicated, but it is, in that format, a little bit too rigid. Because, what happens? Well, let's say your menu items for the first 3 days are chili, chicken parmesan, and red beans and rice. And so you go through and you get all the ingredients for those things. And then you come home on Monday night, which is chili night, and it's 80 degrees and humid outside. This happens a lot in Houston, The last thing on your mind that you want to eat is chili, much less cook it. Yuck. Or let's say you forgot about the kids' soccer game, so nobody's going to be home to actually cook, much less actually eat. Just all sorts of things can get in the way of keeping up with a set schedule for your menu. So I have a little trick that I used in the beginning of our marriage that we then expanded our menu system to work with it. It worked really, really well for two things. One, for getting you into the habit of doing menu stuff. And two, learning how to make a menu so that you could then adjust it for your own family's schedules and needs and wants. So to start off, take a work week, a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 5-day week, and plan 3 things. Not this is what we're going to have on Tuesday, but 3 things. You want to have the ingredients to make 3 different meals over that 5-day period. Why not all 5 days? Well, there's going to be one day that you're going to have leftovers, and there's the one day, the things where they go zig and stuff like. If you're planning a 5-day menu, don't plan for actually 5 days, like I said, if nothing else but for the leftovers. So come up with your 3 things that you're going to cook. Now make a shopping list for those 3 menu items. Don't pay attention to what's in your pantry and what's in your refrigerator. Go ahead and write down everything you need, or actually make a document or a checklist and stuff, because you're going to reuse this. List everything that you need for those ingredients. Now, if you're being super advanced, you can go through and I tend to do it based upon how I walk through the grocery store. So, produce first, then getting to the freezer last. I have one girlfriend that does it extra. She actually gets a map of the grocery store and comes up with where things are on the aisle, so she can actually label for which she can have the shopping list set up for which aisle. If you want to do that, great. That actually is really wonderful if you're handing the list to somebody else too. But it does help if you have it somewhat organized, at least to the flow of your grocery store. So now you've made the list. You've got your menu items. So Sunday night comes around when you're going to do your big shop for your week. Now take the shopping list that you've made, go through your pantry, go through your refrigerator, and mark off the things that you already have so that you know you don't need to buy them. There we go. Go do your shop, bring home your items. Then if you come in on Monday and it's 80 degrees and you don't feel like having chili, but you know what? Red beans, I get that this analogy falls apart because red beans and rice is just as hot a dish as chili, but you're more in the mood for red beans and rice than you are for chili. Well, then on Monday night, cook the red beans and rice. No problem. Tuesday, oh gosh, kids' soccer game and husband's work event thing, so nobody's going to be home. We'll just skip that day. But now you haven't failed. You haven't failed in your menu. Your menu is working as expected. So now on Wednesday night when you get in, you still have 2 options. Now this helps you in a lot of ways. One, it helps you time-saving wise. You don't have to go to the grocery store as much for that last-minute item that you forgot. But also, when I'm coming home on these days, I'm not thinking of all of the things I know how to make when it's like, oh, well, what do I want to eat? Well, here's all the 24 things that I know how to make. I've actually got it narrowed down to the 2 or 3 things that I have on hand. So think of it kind of like having a uniform for school or for work. You don't have to think about what you're going to wear. You already generally know what you're going to wear. So it saves a lot of time that way. And then once you get the hang of this menu system, then you can modify it according to your own family's needs. So back in the early days when we were just, it was 4 of us, we had a 2-year-old and a 6-month-old, and we were living here in Houston. I had it set up on 2 weeks rotation. So I had a 2-week menu, that actually only covered 10 meals. Because again, you have to have the gaps for leftovers. And there was always one night that we ate at church. There was always one night that we ate out with family. So I didn't need meals on those nights. So I only had to do a major shop once every 2 weeks. I did do a supplemental shop in the middle for things like produce. But that was much easier to do. Still, we're only talking about 2 shops for any 2-week period. Now, when we moved overseas to England and my refrigerator was about the size of this bookcase, well, I couldn't do a 2-week system anymore, but I could easily do a 5-day system. And as my children have gotten older and as our needs have changed, I have modified that system various times. But it's flexible, it's easy to do, and it's easy to start. So like I said, recapping, take a 5-day week period, or 5-weekday period, and come up with 3 things that you want to cook and do a menu plan for those 5 days. Don't set the specific day you're going to have anything. Just have those 3 meals on plan and in your pantry and in your fridge and ready to go. Practice that for a few weeks, and you will find that you can start to modify and figure out your own ins and outs of how you like to do meal planning. And then you can adjust your menu accordingly. And then you can go to Pinterest and get the cute little templates that say this. I'm going to just take off the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday part. Anyway, if you have any questions, as always, you can comment down below, or you can find me at Leslie@lifeadministration.com. Talk to you later.